Juz 10. The Juz continues discussing the Battle of Badr. Allah begins discussing who the shares of the spoils of war will go to. Allah then describes the meeting of the believers and disbelievers and how Allah decreed the battle so that the believers could get revenge on the Quraysh for their oppression. Allah encourages the believers to stand firm and to remember Him Allah when meeting the enemy, as well as to obey Allah and His Messenger and to not dispute with one another, or they will lose their courage and strength, but rather to be patient, and Allah is with the patient ones. Allah mentions that the worst of living creatures are those who disbelieve and break their contracts and do not fear Allah. Allah then encourages the believers to amass what they are able to of physical strength and military power, but if the enemy inclines to peace, then to incline to peace and rely upon Allah. Allah then mentions how it is only Him who is able to bring about true brotherhood, and not even spending everything on earth could achieve this. Allah then mentions how outnumbered the Muslims must be to run away from the battlefield. Firstly, a ratio of 1 to 10, and then abrogating it to 1 to 2. In the conclusion of the surah, Allah mentions how the disbelievers are allies to one another, and if the Muslims do not do similar, there will be great corruption on the earth. Surah At-Tawbah is the only surah that does not begin with the basmalah. The surah begins with Allah and His Messenger disassociating with the polytheists, after the polytheists constantly broke their oaths and treaties. Allah mentions the characteristics of those who maintain the masajid, that they believe in Allah, the last day, establish the prayer, give zakat, and do not fear anyone besides Allah. Allah then mentions that if the believers' fathers, sons, brothers, wives, relatives, wealth, and business are more beloved to them than Allah, His Messenger, and striving for Allah, then they should await Allah's punishment. Allah mentions the battle of Hunayn and how the people should not rely upon their numbers. Allah then mentions the punishment for those who do not pay zakat, that their treasure will be heated and will burn their foreheads, sides, and backs. Allah mentions how He saved the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr when they hid in the cave of Thawr after fleeing Mecca. Allah mentions to not be impressed by the disbelievers' wealth or children. Allah mentions the categories of those who can accept zakat. Allah mentions that the one who mocks Islam has disbelieved. Allah mentions the hypocrites in the battle of Tabuk and how they said to not go out in the heat, but Allah replies that the heat of Jahannam is hotter if only they knew. However, Allah mentions that there is no blame upon the weak, sick, and poor.